What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brennan, and I'm BManX45, and today we're coming at you with another video. We are doing a Fandom Forum. It's been a while. We're going to talk about Babylon 5, one of my all-time favorite sci-fi series. Babylon 5 was created by Michael Straczynski. I might have butchered that name. I'm just terrible with names. But a fabulous show. Amazing sci-fi, and one of my favorites of all time. I've watched it over and over again. My dad and me watched it together, and that's why I got started in it. My dad watched Star Trek. I never really got into Star Trek, but I loved Babylon 5. I just felt like it was more relatable to me because the characters seemed more realistic in their actions, based on other things. Like, they seemed more human to me, whereas like Star Trek, I always felt like the characters seemed really like out there and corny, just because they were like the best that humanity could offer. Whereas Babylon 5 was a little bit more, it was closer. It was a couple hundred years. Humans are acting like 2022. Humans are still acting like what they potentially would act like otherwise. You got characters like Garibaldi, the chief of security, who still watches Looney Tunes. So something that really kind of got to me, felt like was really good cast, amazing cast actually, and something was really fun. He set out to do a story. He did it in 5 seasons. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. One thing that I'm looking forward to watching is this right here, Babylon 5, The Road Home. It looks like a cartoon kind of representation. It's something they brought out a little while ago, and we did hear a few years ago that the original writer, Michael Straczynski, did wanted to produce a reboot of Babylon 5 that he would write. So that's one good thing, is when the original creator writes the rewrite, and he would be using the main character John Sheridan, who was played by Bruce Boxleitner. One of my favorite actors. I loved him in Tron. I love him in this. Babylon 5 was just something that was really special. It was funny that it was a show that they replaced the main character after the first season, but it worked out tremendously well. And I really did love this series. It had really cool alien races. I really did like the diverse looks of them. It really felt like a diverse show. There was different races all over. They all brought their own things. They had their own cultures, and it was very, very well done. You did have a good selection of cast members here. You had Commander John Sheridan, Security Chief Michael Garibaldi, Lieutenant Commander Susan Ivanova. So they all came from different backgrounds. She was Russian. He was kind of like your typical, from the Bronx kind of guy, military man. You had Dr. Stephen Franklin, Richard Briggs, I want to say is his name. Fantastic actor, had an amazing story arc where he dealt with addiction. Such a great show. I couldn't recommend it enough. There's 5 seasons, and Michael Straczynski, I'm just awful, set out to tell a story. He wanted to tell that story in 5 seasons, Babylon 5, as the last of the 5 Babylon stations that were built by Earth to promote peace in the galaxy and cooperation between the races. So this is really this is what you would say is a true diversity project. We have so much fake diversity out there, which is just basically pandering to people who feel like they're let down. Whereas like this is true diversity. They built a station so that all races, all peoples could come and work together for the betterment of the galaxy. There's some foreshadowing in there. There's evil enemies lurking in the corner who want nothing but war and destruction. They don't care about peace. And there's forces of light, even, that all they care about is order, and necessarily not what's good for people, but that order is maintained at whatever the cost. You have some of the races here in the background. The Centauri, which are just like humans with peacock hair. The Mimbari, who the humans had recently finished a war with, that almost wiped them off the face of the Earth, or wiped the Earth off the face of the galaxy. which they kind of have like bones around the back of their head, and most of them are bald. She's an exception. You'd have to watch the show. I won't get. Yeah, so there's Lanier. He's got just bald head, bone on the back. You have the Narn, Jakar here, which is Andreas. I'm not going to pronounce his name right. Who is an amazing actor. You start out the show, he's very rough around the edges as his character, and his character just grows on you so much because of how amazing the actor is. He's just so good in all respects, and I love watching him and his development as a character over and over again. I've probably watched the series at least 3 to 5 times is how much I enjoy this series. Again, you can go out, you can buy the seasons 1 through 5. There's a couple spin-off things. There's 2 movies in the beginning and The Gathering. The Gathering sets up season 1. In the beginning, explains a lot of background stuff that you might not know and kind of adds some flavor to some stuff you get throughout the season. Both are excellent movies. I would recommend watching them as well. And there's a few other things. There's a movie, a Rangers movie that was really good. And there's the Crusade spinoff, which was like a few episodes and was kind of fun. But and there's lots of spinoff material because it's such an amazing series that just took a life on their own. And while the director, the writer, Michael Straczynski, did wrap up everything in 5 seasons, he left little things left undone that were like little story points undone that you could branch off and create even bigger things. But the main overall story arc, the mission of Babylon 5, was wrapped up in the 5 seasons. Everything was, and I love how that storytelling is so concise and so powerful, how he just did everything and got it all done. A lot of shows nowadays, like I watch Supernatural, and I love Supernatural except for the last season because they made God the enemy, and I just felt like that was a tacky move after so many seasons of how to end it. I felt like it didn't feel like God. It felt like some douche, and then they basically replaced him with the boy that they had there, who had basically become God. He had become what you'd expect God to be like, and so it was just kind of, like I said, I feel like it was a tacky move, but Supernatural could have ended around seasons 5 to 7. In there, they had a lot going for them. It was a really good series, and they said they were going to keep making series as long as the fans wanted. And it was kind of like, you got to have a plan. Like, fans want good amount of content. They want a bit like nice big story. They want to keep reading the next book, but they also want it to end on a very good note. They don't want you to sacrifice your ending just because you're trying to appease them. So like I said, this could have gone on for so many different things, and there were some things that were tried out that were actually really intriguing, whether they went further than just a movie or a couple episodes series or some books. There was a lot of places you could have jumped through with this series, but the main story was tied up, and that's what I love about this story, is that he did a good job at tying up the story, and it makes it so that you can watch it again and again and again, and it feels like a classic. The actors are all on point. They're so good. There's lots of diversity in this cast, and like I said, not forced diversity, real diversity, and it's just such an amazing series, and I can't, stress how much I enjoyed this. I'm excited. I know reboots are a scary thing, but I'm excited that the original writer is coming back to do a reboot. Although I don't know if we're actually going to see this, because it was originally a WB thing, which is now the CW. So we might not never see it, because the CW, I think, is either being sold or being in the process of being sold, and it hasn't been profitable for a long time, unfortunately. I mean, a lot of people give the CW a bad rap. Yes, their shows are not the greatest material out there, but I have enjoyed some of them. I enjoyed the Vampire Diaries. I enjoyed a lot of the Flash, Arrow shows and stuff like that. And I will admit that they did start to go downhill there at the end. They were strong at the beginning, but they definitely lost some momentum with, being a little bit too worried on identity and politics, where they weren't when they started out. But I love Smallville. Like I said, I love Supernatural, even though it went way too long and that sacrificed the story a little bit. But I think, like, if you get the original guy who wrote such a good story back, and he does his magic, you could have a really fantastic reboot. The fact that he wants John Sheridan to be the focus of it again, that makes me happy. I want to see another. I would love to see another take on John Sheridan. I would definitely watch that. I can always still go watch the originals if I feel like it's not as good, but I think it could be worth, and it'd be cool to see how they do the aliens nowadays with new technology, because this was all makeup. That he sat down for hours in a day doing makeup. Although I would hope that they would do the Narn the same way. But you could like make certain things look better about these two races, because they basically look like humans with hair aesthetics, or with different hair and skull, head aesthetics. You have the Vorlons, which are basically beings of light, just in like a containment suit that makes them look kind of like alien predator-y. It's like, we look creepy, and then they're like, and we're very composed and only speak in riddles, but really we're giant beings of light. They're just hiding inside a suit. So there is that. So that's interesting. They have really cool ships. Literally, they have a ship that looks like a better X-wing than an X-wing. The Star Fury fighters, and then these things, which are giant chickens. They were really fun to watch how they worked. The station itself being that Earth their ships need to rotate to establish and make gravity. It's always been something really cool. And there's just so many good things about it. I can't say enough about how much I really like Babylon 5. The humor is on point. The action is on point. The suspense is on point. Everything is amazing. And I like I said, I can watch this over and over again. So I would suggest you go check out Babylon 5. As a fan of it, I think it's an amazing series, and I hope that we get at least a fraction of the greatness in the reboot that we get, if we get the reboot at this point. But I will definitely maybe review this Road Home once I go watch it. I've had it here for a long time. I just get super busy, but I'm definitely going to go watch it, and eventually I'll probably rewatch this with my kids and my wife, and I think we'll have a really great time. But that's it for this Fandom Forum. Tell me what you guys think. Have you seen Babylon 5? Do you like it? Do you think it's worthwhile? Are you excited for the reboot or not? Or do you think you're going to go give this a try now that you've heard me talk about it? Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. And as always, have a wonderful day. And that's all for now, folks.